Well, hello, my pretties. I want to talk about how I'd like to engage with other people in a way that makes them feel elevated as well as myself feeling elevated. So it's a win win scenario with whatever happens. We both feel better, more elevated, vibing higher. It's a pretty cool deal, right? Instead of one winning at the other's expense, more people should be focused on the win-win scenario and then surrounding yourself with people that believe that too, or at least open to that, right? Yes, of course I'm right. It's a very good, valid point. I'm glad you agree with me. So, when I'm engaging with people, if I have nothing interesting to say, I'll start with this. If I have nothing interesting to say, I'll probably say nothing. Because if I say nothing, there's a mystery there that there might be something interesting about me or not, but we just don't know. If I open my mouth when I have nothing interesting to say and something boring and bland comes out, well, then the mystery is no longer there in a very negative way, a very boring way. And put that guy in a corner somewhere because we want nothing to do with him. He has nothing interesting to offer the universe. However, there's a solution to all of that. And for me, it comes pretty natural with some conscious thought. So that is, if I just pay attention to my surroundings, to what people are doing, things that are happening, there's always something I can spot that's unusual or out of the ordinary. And it doesn't have to be mind-blowing out of the ordinary, just something slightly off from center line, just like doesn't have to be it can just be or instead of so, and that could be the tone of somebody's voice, their tenor, the way they shake hands, the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they look, something with their apparel, their aesthetics. It could just be anything. It could be their shoes. Who knows what it might, maybe their accent. It could be anything. If you just pay attention, there's always something to comment and observe on. So for me, typically, if I'm engaging with somebody, especially if it's somebody who's a stranger to me who I don't really know, it's easy to engage people we already know that we're familiar with, but for this video, let's talk about the unfamiliar, new people, somebody that we might see that looks interesting in some way or attractive, someone we want to approach, but maybe we don't because we're scared. So it's very easy for me because I pay attention to the things that are looking for something that is and it's typically going to come in the form of a compliment I will pay this said person, man or woman, but most of the time it's a woman I'm talking to. So for simplicity's sake, and also just for the mere measure of dominance, as far as statistics go, I'm going to just refer to it as a woman. So most of the time it's a woman. So when I approach said mystery woman that I don't know, who I'm completely unfamiliar with, it's going to start with a compliment, but it's also going to have a tinge of negativity to it. Call it a sort of a push-pull combination. So like in the push-pull method or format, let's call it a format, it's going to be like 80% pull, maybe 20% push. And what that's going to look like is something like, gosh, I don't know. You're cute, but you look really dangerous and bad for my health. I'm intrigued, but scared at the same time. You're really amazing at blank, but I don't know if we're going to get along. Who knows? I don't know. Or you do this really well, and you look amazing, but your shoes are kind of ugly. Just pulling stuff off the top of my head. That kind of thing. So what that does is it communicates to said person, said woman, that I'm interested, I like you, I think, but I'm not sold. It also communicates, I want to engage with you, communicate with you more. Maybe a bantering, maybe a flirtatious one, or not. It could be a romantic thing or a platonic thing. It doesn't really matter. The format and the concept is still the same. And it elevates the mood in both said person as well as myself. So I'm always thinking in terms of like, not always, most of the time, I'm thinking in terms of a push-pull, especially in like the first 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then from there, maybe it drips in once in a while, but from there it's more getting to know each other and engaging each other, and maybe more of a deeper versus a superficial level. Because let's face it, the push-pull concept is more superficial, and I'm not really a superficial exterior surface kind of guy, but it does have its place, and that's to determine if you want to go deeper and really engage with this person on a deeper, meaningful level. Because for me, that's what it's all about. It's finding that person that, yeah, that initial 20, 30 seconds of push, pull, bantering, flirtatiousness, whatever it is, that's going to help me decide if I want to go deeper with this person. And it's also going to help the other person decide if they want to go deeper with me and engage with me and see that there's something there, which is a pretty cool thing, whether it's romantic or platonic or anything in between. So having said all of that, it's extremely rare that said woman will take offense and say, "This sounds rude. I appreciate the compliment, but the thing about my ugly shoes, that was just rude." And I pretty much have a default response to that that can maybe be modified depending on situational circumstances and so forth. But the response is pretty much across the board. No, I wasn't being rude. I was treating you as a person of independence and deep critical thinking skills and easy to decipher good-spirited lightheartedness from rudeness. I wasn't wrong about that, was I? Say it with a smile and a smirk on my face. And as rare as that is, that a woman responds that way, my response does pretty well to that. And everything is fine. And maybe once in a blue moon, said woman is still put off. In which case, well, it's just not a good match for maybe any kind of a connection whatsoever, and that's fine. No need to insult anybody, but it's the negative part of it is not truly negative. It's more of a lighthearted playfulness that the overwhelming majority of people get that. And they're like, yeah, this is interesting. This is different. It makes me stand out. It makes an individual stand out versus the, hey, what's up? How was your day? What do you do for work? How's life? Tell me about your family. What do you do for fun? Those are all really boring questions that does not make a person stand out whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with those questions. It's just very common. And because it's so common, I would even argue that it's lazy because it does nothing to make a person stand out. And the person asking those questions isn't doing anything to get outside of what they're comfortable and familiar with either, because everyone is comfortable and familiar with asking people about their family, what they do for work, what they do for fun. So there's no growth there. There's no flexing that creative muscle to stand out and be a little bit different according to your own personality. So the way that I like to go into engaging with a new human being is I like to think of what I can do to stand out, to be different, pay attention, observe what is maybe a little bit unusual and strange, comment on that, exaggerate on that in a playful way that is obviously going to be exaggerated so the person knows that this is a lighthearted exchange. And then from there, we mutually decide if we want to go deeper and really engage each other in deep, meaningful ways. So that's my general take on it. And so the results of that so far, it's a mixed bag, like a lot of other things are. It's a filtering process. So no emotional attachment to the outcome of any of that, because emotional attachments to the outcome of this kind of stuff can be very psychologically harmful to somebody. So first, you have to really break any emotional attachment to the outcomes of these things. And then from there, you just sort of see it as a sorting process or a filtering process where people, depending on how they respond to you, you can put them into different little categories. It's like, yeah, someone who's fun and interesting, they're in the fun and interesting category. I want to engage them more. Or somebody who's kind of boring, mundane, but nice. And that's another category. Or someone who's just outright negative and took it completely the wrong way and maybe very inept socially. They go into another category, you know? Or, gosh, if you get really lucky, wow, a love interest. And I can say that kind of thing because I'm a single man. So I'm also keeping an eye out for that as well. Absolutely, I own that. So that's another category. And that would be the smallest category, I would say, when I engage with somebody where it's like, oh my God, there might be a love interest there. Let's explore that more and see if there's something there and if it's mutual. And that's the thing that makes it scary, is like if you have feelings and it's not declared by the other person, or declared either way for that matter, you don't know what the other person is thinking. Who knows? And that's another reason to stand out and be engaging, and also to do the push-pull thing where it's positive and negative, and you got this push-pull thing happening, because that kind of healthy tension versus an unhealthy tension, but that builds attraction. And that's something that a lot of people, the overwhelming majority of people, do not understand. The healthy tension that a push-pull interaction creates is good for building attraction, to see if there really is something there as far as a sexual, sensual attraction, a romantic feeling. Who knows, man? It's worth exploring, that's for sure. And a good way to do that is with healthy, flirtatious, good-spirited bantering with that push-pull method. Well, I think I covered everything I wanted to in this video. I got a website, orgasmicpathways.com. I don't have anything pressing to sell you. You can go there and check it out, orgasmicpathways.com. Select your pathways. It's mostly health, fitness, music, dancing, personal growth, a lot of philosophical stuff. It's pretty cool. I dig it. Of course I do. It's mine. Happy to own that. And feel free to share this, comment below with your own thoughts and ideas, your own wisdom you'd like to share with me and anybody else watching this video and reading the comments. I'd love to hear from you. So thank you. I appreciate all of you being here, and especially I appreciate those of you who do comment and engage, because to be congruent and consistent with this video, it's about the engagement and the quality of that engagement. And if you're just watching and not engagement, there's no engagement, therefore there's no quality. So I appreciate those of you who get that and act on that, because it's a pretty cool deal. That's where the magic is. Bye for now.